Anekadha anugrahaya prakshena klesha rashi vishama vishadharaha aneka vaktra subhogi sarvajnana prasutihi bhujaga parikaraha pretaye yasya nityam devo hishaha sabho vyat sita vimala tanuhu yogado yogayuktaha yogena chittasya padena vacha malam sharirasya cha vaidyakena yopakarotam pravaram munina Patanjalim pranjaliranatosmi Abahu purushakaram Shankhachakrasidharinam Sahasra shirasam shvetam Pranamami Patanjalim Srimate Anantaya Nagarajaya Namo Namaha Patanjala Mahabhashyam Charaka Pratisamskritaihi Manova Kaya Doshanam Hatre Ahipataye Namaha Bhashyakrit Sutrakrit Chapi Nirmalantam Suropinam Dhyataram Shripatir Nityam Patanjalim Namamyaham Aparigraha Janma Kathanta Sambodhaha. So, namaste friends. Last time we were discussing the sutra Brahmacharya Pratisthayam Virya Labhaha, where it talks about the concept of Brahmacharya or healthy and sacred sexuality and how we have to relate with this topic in the spiritual path, because at some point we will encounter it. A small idea that got left over in the sutra discussion of last time that I remember now is that my father, my teacher, Ācārya Desikachar, defined Brahmacharya for the modern people in a very simple way. He said Brahmacharya sambandhastairyam means that there is a stability in relationship. This is what is considered as Brahmacharya. Whether we like it or not, we are all creatures of relationship. We have relationship to ourselves, we have relationship to others, we have relationship to our job, our neighbor, the objects that we have. And this concept of fidelity or Brahmacharya is, there is a stability in relationship. Sometimes we are tempted by distractions. And in modern world, the distractions are way more than probably in the old days. And so, this concept of stability in relationship is defined as brahmacharya, because the relationship is not coming from a person's ego to a person's ego. Relationship is not coming from a person's ego to an object. It's something that is connected from a very deep level. That is what is called as sambandha. Sambandha literally has multiple layers of meaning, but what it means, it's like very intimately connected. Now, part of the problem with intimacy is that the more intimate you go into yourself, the more deeper you go into a relationship, the more deeper you have to deal with your darkness and the darkness of your partner. So, there will come a time where your shadows may create some disturbances in your partners may create some disturbances in yours. And the easiest solution which modern people have is run away. But when we start running away like that, we are losing that connection to our own intimacy. And only when we go deep inside ourselves are we able to actually evolve in our spiritual journey. The spirituality is not just to go to one temple and do namaste, or go to one's photograph and do namaste. Spirituality is about going deep inside ourselves, discovering all the deep dimensions of ourselves and perhaps to change that. That's not easy. That's why my father always used to talk about yoga as a relationship to oneself, relationship with the others, and relationship with the divine. All that will start only with relationship to oneself. That's why brahmacharya is so important, because the more intimate you are with somebody, the more you are revealing your true self, your true nature, your true darkness, and at some point you have to accept it. It's very easy to run away from each other's darkness when you are running from one relationship to other at a superficial level. When it's convenient, I will be with you. When it's not convenient, I will leave you. So that's why he defined brahmacharya as sambandhastairya, a stable relationship. This is one idea that I forgot to discuss in the sutra of last time. Having finished that sutra, we move on to the next sutra, the last of the yama, that is called as Aparigraha. Very fascinating concept. In Vedic tradition, a spiritual seeker, what they called in those days as Brahmana, needed to fulfill 6 criteria. Adhyayanam, Adhyapakam, Yajanam, Yajanam, Dhanam, Parigraham. These are 6 criteria one had to fulfill. Adhyayanam means the person must study the sacred teachings or texts and learn it, understand it, not by memory, but actually understand the technique by heart. That's why it's called Adhyayanam. Now, having learned, he or she must teach that. That is what is called Adhyapakam. You have to teach that. That's why if you go to some places in North India, some people's name will be Adhyapak. That means they come from a family of teachers, so they become an Adhyapaka. So, a spiritual seeker must not only learn or become wise, but part of their responsibility is to also share this wisdom with others. Otherwise it becomes steya. I told you already a couple of sutras ago. If you are having knowledge and you don't share, you become a thief. But that doesn't mean you have to share with everybody. You have to share with those who are deserving of dealing with this knowledge. It's like something precious. You're not going to give it to everybody. You're going to give it to those who can handle this preciousness. Then yajanam. A spiritual seeker must perform some yajnas regularly. There are two types, what is called nitya and naimittika. Daily rituals, daily yajnas, of which one of them could be our yoga practice. One of them could be like the pujas to the deities that you have in your home, etc. There are some yajnas that you have to perform on a daily basis. And there are some yajnas that are not daily but are less frequent or not every day. For example, some practices have to be done on the full moon or the new moon day of each month. Some may be done on the day the sun is moving from the south to north, or the day of Shankranti, usually falls in January. So there are some rituals that are to be done only on a yearly or a monthly or an annual basis. That is called naimittika. So a spiritual seeker must also be doing those kind of things. Not only that, again, it's not only for himself. He also has to do it for others. That is what is called yajanam. Yajanam means to do it on behalf of others. So for example, we do it for our ancestors, or we do it for our neighbors, or we do it for others who are not able to do these rituals. That's why, for example, certain times we are supposed to perform some rituals. Now we don't know, so we invite certain priests who are doing the ritual on our behalf. On our behalf. We are the yajamana, which means the leader of the ritual, but they become what is the Brihaspati or the Yajamana. They are doing it on our behalf. So a spiritual person must also be able to do this kind of thing for others. The last two, and that's where Aparigraha comes, Dhanam and Parigraham. And again, fascinating thing about this is the order in which they are presenting. Dhanam. A spiritual seeker must be generous. Dhanam, must offer things for others. He or she must not only receive or collect, he must offer things to others. That's why it doesn't mean that you have to give a lot of money or this or that. Even a small thing is considered as a dhanam. For example, you give one banana to one cow, that is a dhanam. You give one fruit to a poor person on the street, that is dhanam. But the important thing about dhanam is that you must not give with an expectation of something in return. Even a thank you. This is the most important thing. You must offer without any expectation. Only when you offer without expectation it is dhanam. If you offer with expectation, it is a vyaparam, that means a business transaction. So, dhanam is an offering without expectation. A spiritual seeker must perform dhanam on a daily basis. On a daily basis. He or she has to give something to somebody on a daily basis. What you do, how much you do, it's not your business, or it's not your, it's not expected that you give a lot of money or very little money. It doesn't even have to be money. It can be goods, it could be food, it could be flowers, it could be leaf, anything that is offering. I see some very nice people who, I know one man in particular, he is walking in the morning every day, and always he carries one packet of small biscuits every day, and He is offering to the street dogs every day one packet of biscuits. He's not doing it for return. It's not that the street dog is giving them some love back or anything like that. He's not the owner of these dogs. He doesn't want to take them home and feed. He just gives these dogs every day one small act of kindness. That is called Dharma. There is no expectation in return. Now, part of the problem in modern times is we are always giving something for some return. The other part is Aparigraha. We have to receive as well some things. We have to receive as well something because we can't keep giving. All this model comes like breathing. You have to inhale and exhale. You have to receive something, but receive with certain kind of criteria. The first criteria is you must receive without guilt or the feeling of obligation. The moment you receive something from somebody with the feeling of obligation, it is not Aparigraha. Again, it's like a transaction. Oh, I receive this. So what should I do for this person? That's not Aparigraha. So that is, you have to receive without guilt. This is the first thing. And you have to be very careful who you receive from and how much you receive from. How much you receive, who you receive from and how much you receive. And what is the context of receiving that. Those kind of things are very important. Now this is more and more important because when you receive something from somebody, it's not pure. Now again, pure does not mean it is not sanitary. It's not in that context. In the Vedic context, purity is that it has no blemish, nirmala it is called. What does it mean? That means it has no blemish of karma. The moment you receive something from somebody, you are receiving part of that karma of that person who is giving you. You are receiving part of the karma of that person who is receiving, who is giving you. So, that's why in the old days, people were not receiving from everybody, whatever it was, even food, even water, they would not take from everybody except in moments which they called as Apatkala. For example, in a moment of crisis, they may receive from somebody who they don't know, but not in a normal moment. For example, a sage, for example, if he or she was passing through the village, if some villager offers some fruit or whatever, he will not take it just like that. He may actually take only from certain people, not from everybody. But if that sage's life was under threat and somebody offered help, he will not worry about that, he will take. But once his health is re-established, he will not take it from that same person again. Because the karma is inherited, whether you like it or not. So, people were very careful who they received it from and what they received as well. And there were certain rules and guidelines about what you can receive and what you cannot receive. What you can receive, what you cannot receive. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is telling Arjuna, Phalam, Patram, Pushpam, Toyam. You can receive fruit. You can receive leaves and vegetables. You can receive milk and milk products. You can receive water. These are things which are common. You can receive. But other things you have to be a little bit careful. Don't think they did not have products in those days. They had products, not the same product we have today, smartphone. They didn't have smartphone. They had some other thing. Maybe they had a bow and arrow. They had a chariot. We have a car today. So they had different products, not the same. So they were very careful what they were receiving. also we say that there is no blemish. There was a procedure how they received. So if somebody brings flowers, if somebody brings fruits, they will not receive it in their hands. They will not take it like that. They will ask these people to place it on the feet of their Lord, in the God in their house, or in a temple, or in a holy place, and they will recite some mantras or chanting or whatever. Then they will take that. So what has happened? That person who is receiving from divine, not from that person. So they don't have any obligation to the person giving, because the giving is from the God, not from that person. Because they put that there and then they have taken it back. So it becomes purified also, because there is no karma for the God. Ishvara is devoid of karma. Klesha, karma, vipaka, ashiyehi, aparigraha, purusha, vishesha, ishvara. So any gift, that is why if you will see any gift that traditional Indian people receive, they would not receive it by their hand directly from the giver, except if they were what is called samabandhus, part of the same family, because we are sharing the karma in our family, so there is no problem. So if it was a family member like uncle or auntie or brother or sister, it's no problem, you can receive. But if it is from somebody outside, you would place it in the front of the divine or the God in that place and then return it back. Then only you will take it, so it's coming from God. So the karma is not the karma of that person. The karma is that of the divine, which has no karma, so you are not inheriting that bad karma. So it may sound complicated, but when you actually start thinking about it, this has a lot of meaning and sense. This has a lot of meaning and sense. That is why Patanjali is saying Aparigraha. Aparigraha is the opposite of parigraha. Don't receive. It doesn't mean don't receive at all. It means don't develop attachment to what you receive. That's why Ācārya, Krishnamacharya defines Aparigraha as Vishayam athava sambandha tyaga bhava iti arthaha. It's an attitude of non-attachment or a little disconnection from objects and people and relationships. Because when you receive something from somebody, whether you like it or not, you are entering a relationship because the karma is entangling itself. So that person may not be with you anymore, they may be in another country, but you have received their gift. The karma is entangling you whether you are in the same room or not. So that's why Ācārya Krishnamacharya is saying that this is a bhava, that is a feeling of tyaga, a detachment, a dissociation between the objects or the people who are giving those kind of objects. This is called Aparigraha. So what Patanjali is saying is, when we are having some kind of a spiritual journey, suppose we start accumulating objects because we love gifts. We start taking care of the gifts because every gift needs somehow maintenance. Now, the moment you stop maintaining that, it also influences the relationship with the person who has given you the gift. So somebody gives me a gift. Now, I'm not maintaining it well because maybe I don't like that gift. 6 months later, that same person comes, they see that gift is rotten, it is not maintained well, they will start thinking, oh, you don't care about the gift I gave you. In India, we don't have sellers to hide gifts that we don't like. We don't have those kind of concepts. So it's all in public display. So people give you a lot of gifts. That's why if you look at one of the common thing in most Indian household, it is called a shelf in the living room. Right, sir? Every people will give you some gift. You will put it in that shelf. You will put one shiny Buddha. Somebody will give you. You will put it there. Somebody will give you one what is called Talayati Bommai, which is a doll that shakes its head. Somebody will give you something else, and that will just be in the shelf. You will not even look at it, but you don't know what to do because you cannot throw it away because the person will get upset. Now this will accumulate junk. You have to clean it every day. In India, dust is so common, so common. So you have to clean that every day, clean that every day, clean that every day. Your whole time becomes cleaning those gifts. You are not doing anything for self-reflection, self-analysis, self-inquiry. So you are spending time maintaining these kind of products. So karma gets entangled whether you like it or not. If you don't use that gift, somebody is going to be agitated, somebody is going to be angry. So then what happens? Somebody gives you one, let's say one notebook and one pen. Another person gives you a notebook and pen. Another person gives you a notebook and pen. Now, how many notebook and pen you will use? So you use one notebook and pen, the other one says, oh, you don't like me, only like that other person. So that's why in the old days, spiritual seekers were very dissociated from these kind of gifts. They took consumables. That is why if you see Palam, Patram, Pushpam, Toyam are consumables. You can eat fruit, you can eat vegetables, you can drink water, you can drink milk and its products. Consumable, finished, you eat and it goes out next day. So, in one way you are doing dharma because your waste is fertilizer for plants. That's it. Whereas if you keep objects that are not consumable, then creates the karmic problems. So that's why Patanjali is very strongly emphasizing we have to be stable in Aparigraha. Don't receive too much from people. Be very careful who you are receiving it from. Who you are receiving it from. Very close family members, very close friends, maybe it's okay. But other people, be careful, especially people you don't know. And people will actually, if you are a spiritual seeker and if you are helping people through Dharma, they will have actually some gratitude. They may return that favor, they may return that gratitude. So they will start giving you some gifts. There it creates the problem. There it creates the problem. That's why the concept of consumables was more thing, because that's why if you look at many of the traditional pujas, homas, etc., the offerings were always these. Either it was milk or milk products like ghee or fruits and vegetables. This is what was offered in all the puja. And that would be collected and given back to the people who are coming. You will give some flower to the god Durga in the temple, and you will be given some flower that somebody else had offered. Then what flower you are offering will be given to the next person who is coming, because that is how it is rotating. Dhanam, Aparigraham, it's input and output, it's going. But the karma is being taken away because Durga is giving you that who has no karma, no karmic influence. So these were there, and I have to say that you can extend this in modern time because we talk about consumables. You can include things like chocolate, etc. because in the Bhagavad Gita time there was no chocolate, so they didn't list it. I am sure Krishna would have loved chocolate, so he was taking milk and milk products so much. So all these milk chocolates may be included. But what's important is the attitude of reception. That's where I am coming to the next. When you receive, you must receive without guilt, and you must receive without obligation. You have no obligation to the person who gives you the gift. If you can stay with that, that is Aparigraha. Aparigraha is not to have no objects, because we are living in a world where we are dependent on Dravya Vastu to function. So we need to have that. But you must have no obligation. You must not feel anything obligatory to the person giving you that present. Can you do that? That becomes the question. That becomes the question. This is very, very important. And this is so fascinating, because we are living in a time where people are only focused on taking. Aparigraha is more like receiving. When you take, there are two things that are involved. One is you are controlling what you are wanting to take. It's like the modern buffet. A lot of food items that are there. You take what you like. You don't want to take what you don't like. So in some way, you are exercising control. That means your ego is dominant. And more importantly, you are taking, not receiving. There's a very big difference in attitude between taking and receiving. So that's why in Aparigraha, the attitude of receiving is more important. And how you receive it. How you receive it. That's why the word Aparigraha and Parigraha is coming from the root grahanam, to grasp. That's why I use the word take. When you are taking something, you are grasping. You are grasping. That is a lower level activity. Animals are taking things. We are better than animals. We should be in this spiritual path. We must not take, we must reflect before we receive. That's why the word is Aparigraha. And what is important also is how much we are receiving. If you already have something, you must not receive these kind of things again, or too many gifts from the same person. Because value is more important than quantity. My grandfather had a little small table, a foldable table, that in Sanskrit is called Vyasapitha. This is what they used to place the book to read, because they did not have tables. So it will be one little wooden thing that will fold, and you can open it and place the book and you can read it. He used that for his whole life. He had only one. We still have it in our house. He used only one of that for the whole house, whole life. And he didn't live a short life. He lived a very long life. But in modern times, we are using and throwing products. So we don't value what we have. We don't value what we have. The same, in the old days, when they had some clothes, they had the clothes for a long time. They had clothes for a long time. When my mother got married, she was given the sari that my grandmother wore, which is like 2 generations they were using. And it's not because of poverty. It's also because of value of things that you have. When you start practicing Aparigraha, you will start valuing the things you have. And therefore, it will not, you will not value many things. You will value a small amount of things. And when you start valuing certain things for lifelong, what happens? You develop an intimate relationship with that object, which means you develop a relationship of intimacy with yourself. You can't use and throw things when you have an intimate relationship with yourself. And what will happen when you start valuing these things over a lifetime is you will only accumulate things that you truly need for your Dharma in life. You will not accumulate things that you don't need. You will only accumulate things that you will need for your dharma. My grandfather did not have things that he did not need. He only had limited things that he needed. And to some extent, my father was the same. So therefore, Patanjali is saying, Janma Katanta Sambodha. You realize the purpose of your life. Now, purpose of your life is very simple. Your dharma. When you want to fulfill your dharma, you will only accumulate things that supports you in fulfilling your dharma. You will not have things for decoration. You will not have things for decoration. You will only have things that are fulfilling of your dharma. Other things are not important. So, the tools that you are using, what is called Ācārya, are helping you to fulfill your dharma. That is the products and objects that you will start accumulating, and when you have that, you start using it. Then you are fulfilling your life purpose and birth. Because in Vedic tradition, the theory of karma is very simple. It says we are all born for a particular predestined reason to fulfill a certain karma. That's why we even have this, a certain body type, a certain structure of the mind, certain capacities, so that we can fulfill that dharma. Now, if we give up that dharma and move somewhere else, we will be born again and reborn. So, when you start having less and less things, or only those things that are of value, then you evolve into your dharma. Otherwise, it's coming from desire, and desire can never be satisfied. You want this, you want that, you want this, you want that. That's the problem today. If you look at many objects, they are disposable. We call ourselves smartphones and we pay so much money for this smartphone. But somehow or the other, the phone companies are forcing us to buy one new phone every 1 year or and a half or 2 years. We spend a lot of money. Whereas when you look at old times, I remember when I was a child, we had one phone which was like that was there for 20 years, 30 years, the same phone, the same instrument. And every month one lady will come for cleaning that from the telephones department. And we were all waiting for that day because that wax was smelling so unique. You remember, sir? That wax was smelling so unique way. So we were waiting for the day. So phone, the same with TV, the same with car, the same with other things. We kept things for a long time. But if you look at modern society, it's very disposable. See, most people don't know what the hell they are doing on this earth. They get burnt out because you are burning your energy in a direction that you don't know where you are going. Very few people know what they really want to do. And they accumulate things only that are valuable for them. Not in an obsessive way, not for decorative purposes. So that's very important. That's very important. Look at cosmetics today. There is no dharma that needs cosmetics. It is such a big business. The only cosmetics that you need is if you are doing Kathakali dance, then you have to color your face. But except that, you don't need, whether you are a singer, this, that, you don't need all this. Traditionally, they never wore cosmetics when they were on stage. Their voice did their job. So, like daily life did not need that. I think if my grandmother was alive today and somebody told you, do you need makeup, she will not even know what that means. She lived in a time where this does not even exist in their consciousness. Forget about in the shop. So, traditionally, when you look at things, we had things of value not for decorative purposes or for desire purposes. Today we have a lot of things that are for desire purposes, and advertising is capturing our desire and our weakness for this desire. I think that is why Patanjali is saying Aparigraha. It's not saying don't receive anything. Be very careful what you receive. And don't develop attachment to what you receive. Something breaks or something you lose, it's okay. But don't be so angry because something breaks or something you lose. Just develop a detachment. Because things are disposable, but you don't have to dispose something when it's not time for it to be disposed. So that's why these things are very, very important lessons that Patanjali is saying, because the more you start accumulating objects, the more your relationship is with the objects, not with yourself. Not with yourself. And that is why Aparigraha is so important. Where he saying, reduce the objects to a minimum and start valuing what is needed, so that keep it for long term. In one way, this is also a form of brahmacharya. You are fidel to the objects that you are using. You are fidel to the objects that you are using. I see this a lot in my passion of photography. Cameras have changed so many years now. The lenses have changed so many years now. Whereas when I look at some of my photography heroes who were in the early part of the 20th century, some of them used one equipment for their whole life. 50, 60 years, they had the same camera and they developed a relationship with that. Some of them were even so great that they said the camera is an extension of them. It became part of them when they were holding the camera. It was not that they were two different things. Whereas today, the camera companies are forcing you to buy every 2 years because they are designed to work only for 2-3 years. Everything is designed only for short term. So they are forcing us, so we get trapped in this rat race. This also has other side effects. When you practice Aparigraha, where you have lesser things you need, it's also eco-friendly because you are not generating so much of garbage. Whereas if you have to keep using and throwing things, then it generates mountains of garbage. There's been some recently, I've been following some problems with the telephone company from China, Huawei. And I was watching some documentaries about these problems because the American government is creating these problems for this company. And one of the newscast members was saying that every year, globally, 600 million phones are thrown into the junkyard. 600 million. So imagine the volume of junk this world we are creating. That's only phones. Then think about other products like cars, clothes, everything else, which are not consumable. If you generate 600 million tons of tomato and put it in the garbage, no problem, because it will recycle very easily. That's why Bhagavad Gita was saying, because they are all consumable not only by us but by the world. Whereas you put 600 million phones, which are mostly made of plastic, into the environment cannot consume it for a long time. The same we do it with other products. The environment will not consume it. That's why develop long-term relationship for a long period of time. Then you are also being eco-friendly. So you live in an environment that can also nourish you back. Because if you give toxins to the earth, somehow we have to live off the earth. We will start getting those toxins ourselves. Dharma, Aparigraha, what you give, it's what you will receive. So if you give good things, you will receive good things. If you give toxins, the world will give you toxins back. That's the simplest version of the theory of karma. What you sow, so you will reap. So we put plastic in the earth, that is what we will get tomorrow. That is why there is a side effect of Aparigraha also, which is that it is very environmentally friendly, and in today's time, this is a very important topic, not only for ourselves but also for the future generations, our children, our grandchildren, because they will not have a clean earth to live if we don't start opening our eyes. It is why, my friends, please try to meditate on Aparigraha, not only for karmic reasons but also for environmental reasons, so that we can do something that will leave a sustainable future for our successors, our children and our grandchildren and future generations. So this is a summary of the sutra. Aparigraha sthairye janma katantha sambodha. Namaste.